So we joined back in for part two after last week. Dante had found a mysterious, like slate black vault door from the looks of it, protected by some intricate magics. However, upon some convincing from the group, he has taken a step back and decided to take a rest. We join back in now, sort of, I'd say 40, 50 minutes. You're coming to the end of it, and I think Arthur and Ash would turn up more out of like nobody came back for, they finished their rest and then they waited 10 minutes and then they're like, okay, we should probably go and check.
I thought
and
we
see.
said.
Ichi was going to.
Yeah, I thought
have a-
you said Ichi was going to
Oh,
go.
sorry, yeah, Ichi did go and tell them,
Ichi
yes.
and Eleni went to tell them
Yeah,
because
so
me and Dante had that.
they would, yeah, so about maybe 45, 50 minutes, they would come after their rest, they would come to catch up with you guys. Arthur and Ash sort of like looking. As you come through the room that
So sorry,
Lenny
Liam.
and
Are we
Bowley.
finishing our short rest yet? Shall I?
Yes,
Can I roll my
you
die?
can you can do, but they would just be there in the last 10 minutes. As you're coming back through the room that Volu and Eleni felt weird in with the season changing, so Arta immediately is like, "Oh, we have used something like this in the past as well. It disrupts magic reliant on duration time. Casting a spell in here would run out very quickly."
Hmm.
It is interesting. This place is almost built for defense. The golem, the weird rooms. What was down the other corridors that you and Volo explored?
There's one that had fire and chains and what looked like depictions of the different planes. Um, we haven't gone as far as to see whether that, and I'll point down the corridor, whether that room is the same as the room that we reached from the other side.
He will look at Ash and Ash will nod and start heading down that way. You can see that as Ash is going, they are sort of soft sketching a bit of a map.
Mhm.
And you can see that, like, if that is the connection, this would close off. This would almost be the end of,
Mm.
there is no more temple after this extension of things. But he will head off that way to sort of check that. You would be able to finish off your short rests as that's sort of coming to a close, and Arthur would sort of look in the large door room and sort of say, "Well, that is definitely protecting something."
Yes, that's what Dante thought. But we thought we should rest before we tried to open it.
They will say, we will stay in, obviously, until we exit, but in terms of what we came down here for, each year we came to look for any sources of the corruption. That's the only signs we have seen are around that power source. Yes, we have not seen any signs of it this far down.
I haven't seen any more. Have you, Dante?
Not down this way, no.
If Dante's fire can clear it, should we? I mean, I am more than happy for you to explore this in your own time, but it is getting late.
Is it worth trying to open this door and then leave?
I think that gives us something to do. We could see what's here.
We should definitely clear what is left of that word infected corridor before we go as well. Let's not leave any traces of it behind.
Agreed. We do not want that around. Anything that infects can be dangerous.
After a moment, Ash would return I would say it does appear like it connects back round. That room has fire murals all over the walls.
Hmm.
Like you said, chains and symbols. Okay, I do not know what the arcane symbols are, but if you say they are of the planes. Interestingly, I could not use any of my abilities in there. My lights went out, my fire, and
Could you said there's pictures of the planes in there.
We didn't actually step into the room. We just looked.
Do you know what planes there were?
I mean, from what you guys saw, like almost all of them, like it wasn't
Yeah.
like didn't seem any rhyme or reason to it. The only like
I don't think we'd have
predominant
recognised
factor
them all, though, would
was
we?
no, but only the predominant factor was the flames.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has any links to this door.
I mean, what's you that Arthur, that red light on the door? I assume maybe the rooms connect to.
Did you try to touch any of the crystals, or
Oh, I tried the fire one, touched that. It seemed to absorb part of me. I think because maybe of this just shows, obviously, just shows his flame on thing. The thunder I hit.
can Eleni reach out and touch that crystal? Because she's got no fire on her. And
Careful of the trap.
Yeah, if you point out where the trap is, I'll avoid it. But
Okay. Arthur, as you're getting closer, I think Arthur would sort of back up a little bit.
actually, can I use my mage hand first to go and press?
Yeah. So
The one you might affect more is the white one, but I wouldn't advise it.
I want to touch the same one as you to start with, just to
okay,
see.
so from a distance, you have the mage hand float forwards, and as it touches it, it glows. There is a gout of flame that fills the sort of space in front, and when it returns, the light is slightly less filled.
So it is touch. It's not specifically to do with.
I'd say Eleni has yeah, it seems to be well at least that bit. You're not seeing any of the like absorbing bit.
No.
But yeah, we said that, so it was more likely down to.
And you said
I-
there's a
maybe-
white crystal and another one?
There's a
No,
purple
so
one,
I
a
think
white
there's
one, and a red one.
definitely a purple one, a white one, and a red one. I think you would definitely be able to define Dante that there
Take
is well, there is a trap, right? There is just a trap on the door that would react anyway, and there is the additional effect you felt because of your nature.
Mhm.
With a short rest, I've still got one charge left. Would the short rest cancel that out of my fire breath?
Charge. Yes, because it's timed, I believe. Is it? The fire breath potion is for an hour, I believe.
Think so.
But that probably
okay.
happened anyway, as soon as you walk through that room.
Yeah, it would have gone when we came through the time thing.
Oh
Yeah.
god, yeah. Actually, yeah. Yeah, so definitely no, I can't use that then. I was gonna like literally spit fire at the thing to see if it would recharge. Okay.
So anyone who wants to try and take a look,
What does that one mean, Dante? You talked about this one on.
Yeah, so there's the fire, the red one that seems to be fire.
So I'd guess the red one is fire, especially after seeing the cyclone.
Fire. Yes, I understand that.
I guessed that was thunder, but it might be something else. Could be psychic or storms or anything.
Each you would say it was like thinks a barrage of people screaming in my head, too loud to concentrate.
And then there was that one, which was I haven't tried.
That's the purple one.
No, the white one.
So the one you haven't tried, sorry.
It's the white one.
Is the white one.
Yeah. So that one.
Purple one caused
Right.
voices in the head.
I wondered if this was similar to the ball in the other room.
So maybe let's get the mage hand to touch the white one and see what happens. Everybody
And
stand back.
I think it was more, that one was more Feywild-esque. That's why I wondered if you may have more effect on it. Do I know that it's Feywild, that it kind of come Fey? Because obviously I've seen a.
Because you know of the essence of you sort of link that liquid.
No, I'm
and if it
talking. I'm
is
talking about
correct-
Eleni.
Um,
Because I don't actually know if we've ever spoken about where she's got the moths.
no, and her moths
I
are.
thought
I have
you
with
talked about.
volume.
I thought you two had the chat in the tavern.
We did.
Yeah, but even Eleni doesn't know where. Like, she didn't say where the moths have come from.
No.
She just woke up with them.
That's what I'm saying. So I might take that back.
I
because-
think no. I think you might
I
because
think I
of
said
your.
they brought me back. They saved my
Well, no,
life.
but just even in seeing them used, you have an advantage for Fae things, right?
Yeah.
So even that, Dante, even though nothing's been specifically said, and you've probably just been like, don't ask questions, don't, she doesn't ask about my shit, I'd ask her about her shit, sort of thing. But it definitely would have given you feels a little Fae. But as the mage hand touches, firstly, there is a pulse throughout the room. And at first, it's not quite apparent what's happened because none of you had any running effects. But you suddenly become aware that any of your magic items are now normal. Any of your magic that was up is not.
Are you kidding?
And also, Eleni, your mage hand, it like touches it, and as it's hit, it's that bit of energy rather than just dispelling like everything else. It almost collects back into the light.
So it sucked my mage hand in.
And then pulsed out. And after you wait a minute, all your magic comes back. The items
So it's like a magical EMP. I mean, usable. Doesn't help us open the door, though, does it? Sorry, volume.
All these are ways to prevent us opening the door. It doesn't seem that they. Do we need to spend them to open the door?
I think spending them is charging.
Yeah.
If you look at the red, I hit the purple one with an arrow.
Yes, but the mage, when Eleni just did it with the mage hand, it went down.
To the red one.
No, it seems to have sucked the mage hand in, doesn't it?
No, that's the Fey one. When you touch the fire one, it blasted out, but then it didn't.
My worry is what if there is. I mean, this is far beyond me, but this is complex. What if there is a secondary failsafe? Should all of the gems be? Surely there is another way around this other than potentially burning ourselves to death.
I mean,
Have we tried opening the handle at all?
There's no handle. There's no. It looks like a stone. It looks like a smooth black volcanic rock stone that's almost sliding down from the top of the door, from
like
the door.
Like a portcullis.
Yeah.
And Dante's already checked for levers, openings, buttons.
Nope.
No.
I was just about to say, can I have a look around?
Can I help? Let's
So
have a look.
Anybody that wants to look around generally in the room, you can make investigations. If you want to look specifically at the door, it needs to be disadvantaged unless you can tell me how you're getting around the 10-foot trapped area.
In front of the door.
In front of the door. You can disadvantage do it by like squeezing up. Or levitate. Yeah, any of them.
And I can levitate. Oh, hang on.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I've forgotten. I keep forgetting because it's new. If I can find the bloody thing.
And if anyone can give her guidance.
Hang on. How do I do this again?
So Dante, drop an investigation for just generally around the room. But go on, Writhing Tide.
Writhing Tide, for a minute, I get a flying speed of 10 feet and I can hover. So it only gives me a minute. But
long enough to investigate the doorway.
I'm going to
so
do
you
that,
could do a
and I'm
flat
going to
roll
investigate.
on the. Okay.
I got a 13 on a general investigation.
Oh my fucking god. Nat
1.
1. +4 is 5.
Okay.
Shit.
You touched the banishment thing and
Yeah. Damn.
So yeah, I
I'm
mean,
curious to know how banishment works on you or me. Oh.
yeah. Well,
I find
find out.
nothing. It's a really boring door. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, essentially, Eleni, you're looking over it. It's incredibly intricate. Like again, I'm talking like half of the inscriptions on here don't do anything. Half
Yeah.
of it's pattern, and it's pattern inlaid into magic.
Can I
So
see
it's
what
actually
languages
just
it is, or is it more arcane symbols?
seems arcane symbols and language like that rather than actual straight up language.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, Volu, are you doing an investigation? And are you doing the room or are you trying to do the door around with Eleni?
I'll try and do the door because those inscriptions.
What's Ichi got on that cloak that he's wearing? Have we got? Is there anything on the magic cloaky thing
Door.
that could help us?
Yeah,
Do we still have the door?
you do have the door, but it's bigger than the corridor. It's not big enough to fill the corridors or this door even.
Oh,
Right.
sorry, no. I know. I
But
thought
we've got a stained glass window.
You have a stained glass
Yeah,
window.
each you would say about the stained glass window, it will depend how thick the door is. If this stone is 2 inch, less than 2 inches, 2 inches or less, it will create a window through to the other side.
And there were ladders that we could lean up against a wall and climb up and maybe to avoid the trap.
The ladders would definitely help you do stuff without dealing with the trap.
Banished.
So yeah.
I got we've not got any add-ons, have we? We just at the moment.
No, just whatever you've got normally.
I mean, we could get the
17.
puppies and throw them at it. It'd be fine.
Okay, so Volu with the 17. So Volu, like everybody else, and I think maybe this is what's throwing everybody else off, is everybody else is looking for what is normally here involving a magical trap, right? There is the thing that sets it off, there is a trigger, there's usually some gems, there's maybe some circuitry or whatever. None of that is here. And like nothing gives the indication, but Volu, as you're looking at it, it really, really reminds you of some of the ancient keystones that are just found in the Feywild, that were created so long ago, even the eldest Fey don't even know when, by gods or beings beyond imagination. And almost that, like, if you imagine that, like, doing arcane stuff is like you're saying the passcode that lets you tap into energy that's just there. And if a being that can just, like, so dragons, they just breathe fire because they naturally tuned into the magical energies that are there. They can just cast spells. Some creatures can just pull on it. Lots of the mortal plane require some sort of key phrase or whatever. In that, so you have been to places, for example, where this area is charged with lightning magic. So to counter it, you used a opposing magic. Or such things as, like, iron can ground. Pure iron can actually is used in magical rituals to ground the magic to an area. You're actually thinking that a way around this door is more natural than picking apart a trap. So you almost get an inflection of, rather than hitting that fire light with a fire spell, if I hit it with a water spell or an ice spell and do enough of it and count, and almost like you're trying to force your magic against the magic that is prevailing there, or maybe grounding it or doing some other things. But that's the hint you're getting. It's almost like, again, this is a huge carved magical stone that was just enchanted eons ago and radiates this magic. So almost like to suppress the fire, you freeze over it or you water it down and you make everything sopping wet.
Okay. So with that in mind, I'm going to test it on the Fey one. I'm going to collect a load of leaves from my jacket, ones specifically that I've collected since being out of the Fey. And I'm going to kind of make them into the size of my palm and then put my palm over it with the leaves touching it and seeing if it has an effect.
Touching the white one.
Yeah, but the leaves are touching it instead of my hand in that sense.
Okay, when the leaf touches it, it almost like dematerializes and absorbs into it, and the light gets a little bit brighter.
So,
even though those were leaves from this plane, not from the Fey realm.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I said I was
sorry,
collecting.
I missed that.
Yeah, collecting
I
specifically.
thought
That
you
I
meant the
collected
oldest
here.
ones.
No,
Yeah,
the
sorry, my bad.
the newest ones that I've only
Yeah,
collected.
so in which
here.
case, nothing goes off.
Does it not pulse and turn off?
No, it's almost like he's covered it with something natural. Like in the same way as the keystones he knows in the Feywild, if they get covered in leaves over the autumn season, they don't go off. It requires touch and energy and like physical intention almost.
What happens if I throw some water at the red one?
I'll say out loud that I think rather than feeding it, we need to kind of oppose it. That's what I was doing with the leaves there. I almost wanted something of this realm to counteract that. But I'm not sure what to do with the others. And
I will say, Volu, as you sort of take the hand away, the leaf hasn't depleted it or fully countered it. It just stopped it going off, if that makes sense. Gives you the idea it almost needs to be perfect opposition. You know, roughly the material plane overlaps the Feywild as opposed to opposes it on the. Whereas obviously water to fire are opposites on the elemental plane, on the elemental cosmology wheel.
What's the opposite of thunder? Rock?
Well, again, don't forget, you keep thinking thunder. It didn't do thunder damage to you, did it?
Psychic.
So what's the opposite of psychic?
Physical.
But didn't you shoot it?
Yeah.
So that was physical.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like
maybe Arts would say maybe just somebody's force of will and impose your own. I don't know exactly how magic works, but
be good. I would not be good on that.
I would also not benefit that well.
Personally, I think all three of you are wisdom, will.
+4 wisdom.
Yeah, I would have thought all three of you would have been.
Clerics usually decent whiz.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a decent whiz. I was more thinking. No, I was misinterpreting when I said that. Actually,
I was about to say because I'm -1. I do not have good will.
Yeah, I'm +3 and +6 on a save.
Yeah, and I think as well from that, Roland, you would definitely know that something like dispel, an actual just straight up dispel magic, could potentially work, but obviously, and you think you would have
I'm
to
reluctant. Yeah,
it's not like you don't think you could do the door because it's again, it's almost like natural ancient god magic that's beyond this what mortals can touch at this level.
Did anything happen, Liam, if I threw water on the fire?
So how much are you going like whole thing? Are you just flicking some?
I almost want to like splash it so it's not drops, it's
You
splashing
splash
water
a
on it.
bunch on, and it doesn't go out, but almost like if you imagine before it was glowing outwards, there was like that red glow, all the glow dissipates. So now it's just like almost, like if you sort of just initially tossed water
Yeah.
onto the fire and there's embers that are still white
So
hot
if
in
I
the
do
at the
another
bottom.
one,
You do another one and it keeps it at that white hot level, but it doesn't seem to.
okay. I mean, that seems to have dampened it down.
I'd say after maybe a minute, it sort of lights up again. It's almost seemed to you suppressed it more than you cancelled it out. Each would say maybe it's the magic, the factor of magic.
Maybe.
Have we got holy water? Would something like?
I might actually. I thought we had holy water from somewhere, but I can't remember why I think that.
Did
Cleric,
we have...
clerics, when we were chatting to them about the infection.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. I do have a flask of holy water.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I don't. He was saying I don't know that it definitively opposes it, but it has at least
We
been
can try
blessed
it,
and
right?
sanctified. It's
I'll hand Arthur the flask of holy water. I mean, if you think that will
he will
help.
say he will say to everyone to step back, so that that none of you will be hit by the flame if it goes off. And then he will toss it against it, and as the light fades.
Okay.
Almost with a small little.
So opposing, but not non-magical.
Or at least not mundane.
So
I
what
still wonder
opposes
about.
Fae?
Yes, Volu, do you know of? I mean, we know of some the usuals. Iron. The most Fae do not like pure iron.
Running water sometimes.
Running water, but unless we had a spell to create it.
Tapped.
The reason I put the leaves on there is because if it worked, I was going to cast something to make more, but it didn't seem to work. So would it work if it was magic?
I think you'd be worried. You should be careful of using your magic for the Fae, because that's more likely to absorb it.
This is what I'm worried about.
What about salt?
Maybe we can construct something of iron and salt. I have a few. He sort of like Ash will sort of rummage in, and in there they don't have because again they didn't bring full tent peg stuff, but they do have a few like nails and things or needles that you might use to repair stuff.
I have ball bearings.
They would probably be steel, but
Yeah,
I'll have a quick Google to see.
I have ball bearings. I also have a steel mirror. What else? I've got a crowbar and manacles.
Got a drop of blood.
Yeah, not very likely to be. Wood, bronze, brass is the usual for ball bearings.
Yeah.
To be fair, iron was sometimes used in the medieval, so I'd say that your ball bearings are iron to give you some at least. And I'd say that you might have some salt from cooking supplies, but I doubt you've got like a
no.
great
We'll have a little bit.
Volu pulls all of the salt that you've been keeping there.
It's just crumbs. He just shakes himself off, and all the crumbs from the last 3 meals comes off him, and there'll be some salt in there. Ash and Arta will also sort of go through their things. You see they produce any sort of things they have. So to do this, I'm gonna need, so first of all, who is doing it? And then I'm gonna need an Arcana check for you to basically, you're almost gonna set up a magic circle, like a protective circle out of this stuff pinned in around the light.
I mean, I'm happy to help scatter the ball bearings and all of that, but my Arcana's not brilliant, so I don't think I'm the right one to do that.
Not Arcana.
I am, but I don't really want to go near any magic circle.
Yeah, but you'd be on this side of it with us.
And again, this isn't magic circle, magic circle. This
No,
is a hodgepodge. What you would mythically do if like your gran would say, spread some salt at the door and cast some iron shavings across the garden. It's you're going
yeah.
old school magic style over. So this is less of a magic circle you trapped. And it also is this big, right? You don't need to go big because it's only a small light.
Well, it might stick my hand in there and then I can't get it out.
Yeah. Well, again, only the red one. You don't know if the Fey one will try and pull you in.
Okay, well, yeah, let's give this a go then. So, what am I rolling?
So you can give me an Arcana. I'll say that. I'd say that probably between Volu and Eleni, you can get advantage on an aid.
Okay,
I'll give him
Eleni
I'll tap him on the back as well to give him a bit of guidance.
Gracias. Well, rolled 19. So
Yeah, so easily.
plus,
So you
plus.
do like almost using the engravings in the door to sort of wedge bits of iron and sort of sprinkle the salt where possible. And almost as you start to make a full cage around and almost block off, you know where you were following your hand earlier and you felt like the energy pulses when you were touching the door? You're almost blocking them around this rune with the iron. And as you finish, it takes maybe a minute or two, the light fades from that section of the door.
Ooh.
So that's all of them now.
There's
No,
still the psychic one.
Did we say that the spell could possibly work on this? Because I can try.
I mean, you know that this spell will work on any magic. It's just about
Yeah.
do you have the power to overcome it?
Liam, I'm confused. I thought it was the purple one that was the psychic-y one, and the white
Yeah.
one was the fey one.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So the Fey one's
Right.
been done with the
So
iron.
it's just the
The only
purple
one,
one
the
that's
only
still-
one that's left is the purple one. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Give yourself guidance.
Thanks, Dante. I often forget
Hmm.
that I can do all this. It's it still feels new, even though it's been quite a while now. But I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I'm just nervous. Okay. I'll give it a try. So I'll go to the I'll give myself guidance to start with, and then I'll cast Dispel Magic on the purple one.
Okay, and you release the energy out of it, and for Volu, all of a sudden, and Volu, you're hearing this, but it's not damaging you, and only you are hearing this. As the magic connects with that source of light, voices spill out. And at first, it's just like chorus of too many, but you start to be able to pick out, and it seems like individual voices are praying. That's the vibe you're getting. There's, like they sound like prayers. There's even some that are sung and rhythmical, and when they're all forced at you all at once, it's this blur of noise and cries. And obviously, some of the prayers are people who are dying that are crying out for help in their final moments, and others are those that are softly speaking for the hope of a better day tomorrow. But it's almost like the prayers or souls of people are pushed into this space. And as it connects and you begin to hear this, can you make me it's a wisdom check? You do get your plus D4 on it.
Where's my D4? So is that a check or a save, did you say?
A check.
Okay. Why can't I find any D4? 15.
Okay, okay, so there's almost like a moment as you force your own magical disruption past the first wall of energy, and with a explosion of almost like for Volu, it feels like a bang, and you hear almost the release of voices as the soul's almost set to rest. For everyone else, there was almost just a little like a snapping of a band or a piece of wood. And as everything settles, that purple light fades. The door itself doesn't move, but a light flows straight up the center of it, creating a gap in the door that was previously hidden. It's not fully, it doesn't open or move, but you now can see the parting of the doorway where you would open it. Still no handles, still no sign of any other sort of change.
I would kind of let out a big sigh after what I've just heard. And I'll look over and see Dante and think about the conversation we had and what I felt when he showed me compassion and embraced me, and well, embracing for Dante is a hand on the shoulder. But I'll then turn to Eleni and with telepathy go, Dante is not well.
I'll sort of look at you quizzically because I can't answer you in your head, can I?
Right. Please keep an eye on him.
Out loud, I would say, do we need to get rid of this trap as well?
I'll have to look at I do not have the means. If any of you are capable, neither myself nor Ash is. We tend to jump over them and leave them.
There seems to be a light in the door. Maybe like, can we interact? Can we touch it? Will that open? I know it does.
I'll stick the mage hand, Liam, just to sort of see if it can.
So are you going to recast it as well, by the way? Because when it was sucked in, yeah. So you cast it, and now that you push, there's movement. So it almost, like when you move a door in its hinges, it is like so. It just, but it's too heavy for the mage hand to move.
Okay.
But it definitely would move. You know what I mean? Like you feel that it would move.
I'm just thinking if there's a 10-foot square trap in front of this door, we can't get up to it to sort of.
No, Arthur would say maybe two of us try and open one side, or
happy to try.
Can I just try something? Sorry, everyone step back. Mind the trap, but everyone step back. And then I'm going to cast Gust on the door.
Okay.
Okay, so you fire out the gust of wind, and it does cracks and creaks, and as the heavy door grinds open with a deep resonant groan, a wave of cold, stale air almost out of the vault and into your faces, brushing against your skin as almost like an exhale of some sort of deep, large creature. Beyond the threshold, you can see stairs down leading to what looks like it's going to become another circular room.
Be careful.
Yeah.
You can see that there are the lights left and right. Oh no, they won't. You took the power cell. So no, they
So-
don't.
Dante will pull out his sword and ignite it. So we'll do his thing just to get some light. Because
Ash will also light up a torch.
I can go first. And we'll step slowly, cautiously, and I want to check for traps, so I'm not going to like suddenly go on a slide all the way down.
Okay. Give me an investigation.
24.
Okay, yeah, you don't see any signs of any traps.
So I'll start walking down.
Okay. You begin to head down. You can see as you begin to reach the bottom of this floor, you see almost immediately the floor is engraved with intricate interlocking glyphs, and they almost pulse faintly, like a slow heartbeat rhythm.
Does it look anything like a magic circle?
A little bit looks like a magic circle. However,
How
the lights
far
are not.
ahead of us are we letting Dante get with this? Because
Oh,
Well, I mean, to be
I
honest,
assume you guys are with me.
yeah, no, I know. I'm just like, are we actually stepping on the steps with you here? How
I
big are
imagine.
these
Well,
steps?
That's up to you.
it's still like golem size, so it's 20 foot, 20 foot. It's 20 foot high, 20 foot wide.
So
So,
right,
so it's
I'm
enough
I'm
for.
gonna suggest we have one person on a step at once. I'm just a
Okay,
little
so,
bit.
so Dante starts to go forwards. I'd say Arthur again will offer and say, I will hold up the rear at the top and make sure
Thank you.
this door does not close. And he will sort of position himself, in
Yeah.
the doorway basically, so that it can't just shut on you guys.
How long down does this go?
Maybe 15 feet, not crazy far.
I'm just
It's almost
thinking
like a
we don't
half set of
we
stairs
don't all
down.
want to stand on the trap at the same time, right? So
Dante,
I mean, to be
from
fair,
your position, you put
stair
your.
traps are usually my favourite type of trap because it just gets every.
I'm
I
just
do. Well,
remembering
no,
the critical role steps, right? And the
honestly,
boom, boom, boom all
the
the way
one that
down.
the ones that I've never done that I actually really love the idea of ever since I read it is the one that sets off for the people behind the people that were whatever it is. Like the person in front triggers it, but that gets the people that are 10 foot behind them.
Yeah.
But I never really used that one. But yeah, so from Dante's position, maybe second or third step down,
Okay.
you sort of getting a peek into the room. You can see
Can
that in the
I
center
have my
of the
bow
room.
out, Liam, ready
Yep.
in case I see anything nasty in here?
Yeah.
As we're going down the stairs.
Anything anybody else wants to prep?
Okay, I'm gonna prep my the thunder like side of things on my bow as well.
Okay.
So I've got both my rights on.
Can I hold a dodge?
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, I think you will get his sword out and shield and
Oh yeah, I'll also hold an action for dodge if that's allowed as well.
yeah. So in the center of the room, again, these circular rooms that don't like it's almost like each room is built for this purpose, right? There's no adornings or any other sort of things. It's just whatever this is. So in the center of the room, you can see a large, thick pedestal made of the same sort of black volcanic rock. Although this time it's almost reaching around as if it was trying to claw at something. Raised just above the pedestal, almost floating above it. Sorry, the pedestal surface is etched and glowing in the same sort of runes that are pulsing with energy in the room. Resting atop the pedestal, cradled in a faint shimmering aura of protective magic, seems to be some sort of jagged dark metal shard, maybe about a foot long. As it sort of spins in place, it almost looks cylindrical, but isn't perfect. And as it sort of spins, you sort of see the etches of different runes. Even at this distance, you can almost see the markings and the faint purple glow that occasionally ripples
How big is
down.
it?
About a foot long, cylindrical-ish. So it's almost more like if you imagined a sort of tree staff that you've picked up in the woods, but about a ruler sized of it. And it looks like it's been like snapped, and not like, even though it looks like almost stone or metal, maybe it looks fractured, almost like it was wood, you know, like if you split wood unevenly and it's like each end is sort of cut and fractured. As you sort of getting closer, Dante, again, I'm not assuming stepping onto the floor yet, but getting further down the stairs, down the steps towards that final step before into the room, I'm assuming everybody else sort of taking a step down, keeping pace. The rest of you will begin to see this room as you get closer. The shard itself seems to hum with an almost imperceptible vibration that just almost like occasionally you feel it in your teeth as like resonance fills the air with an eerie dissonant tones that again like rattles in your bones. The faint glow seems to push against a protective magic. So it's almost like there's this silvery white blue energy that's around it. And with inside it, every now and again, it almost gives the impression that the vibration is pushing and pulsing against that blue energy. And the ripples that you see on the outer of it is that reaction to, there's like a almost like watching bugs around a bug zapper.
Does this look anything like the energy source that Dante took from the corridor?
The outer does. The inner doesn't.
Is there a place to put the battery?
No.
No. So
Around
it's just
the
a case of just move your hand in and take whatever's inside, kind of thing. Like this.
Around the pedestal, you see the glyphs on the floor occasionally intensify in their coloring, and immediately around the pedestal, they become weaving intrinsic patterns that are actually shifting and changing almost in reaction to what's going on in the room.
I cannot go closer. I think this is something important. I don't suppose anybody is able to have a look.
I mean, again, I have my mage hand that I could send in to poke and prod, but I only have one fly left. Is there a reason why I wouldn't touch the floor?
Anybody looking could try and give me a Arcana to sort of see if they can determine what the glyphs on the floor are actually for.
Any chance of anyone being able to?
Nat 20 for 21.
Okay, so Eleni, you sort of come down to the same step that Dante's on. Again, it's like 20 foot wide, so they are huge steps. And start taking a look at the closest sigils.
I got 23 just for.
Okay, and both of you sort of taking a look. While it looks like a magic circle, all of the sigils are about disrupting or hiding. You don't think you could detect this room. You don't think that you could scry into this room.
Okay.
The disruption is part of the sigils that are shifting and changing. And with the 23, if you imagine there's a magic lock and there is something inside trying to hack that lock, and the lock is also changing in response to the hacking. So you think with that roll, something or that rod or whatever that thing is trying to get out. and the actual lock is adapting and changing and continuing to evolve in order to keep it preserved.
I'm going to put a hand up just a minute and say, this was obviously here before the infection, yes? And we have no idea what this is holding or protecting.
Read.
And the golem was also out there and acting as a protector of some kind.
My one concern here is the infection came here. The infection is any type of living creature at once.
But the infection isn't in this room.
Not yet.
And the glyphs and the sigils here seem to also be protecting and hiding this room. If we disrupt this, that might make this visible to whatever's controlling the infection or to the infection itself. I mean, I want to know what this is as badly as you do. I'm counselling caution here. We don't want to open this up and actually switch off some kind of protection that then goes, here's this thing, come and get it, right?
You have to be careful. I think, though, so when I was down taking the battery, those things were following the power, just as I did to find here. If we leave it here, this power cell I'm holding nearly got corrupted. What would have happened if it got to here?
Oh, I agree, but look how difficult it was for us to get in here.
Yes, it might take a year. It might take 10 years. It might take 100.
But what if this is holding something that's even worse? Think about why the infection would be drawn to this place.
Possibly. I'm just more concerned. Maybe we find a new place to house it. If the infection's found this here, maybe it will.
Who would we trust with it?
I'll look towards E.G. and just kind of.
She would kind of want towards Arthur a little bit, but also
sure.
Like,
do we trust Moonshadow? Do we trust the Azure? Sorry, whatever.
Azure Spy Academy.
Yeah.
Azure.
Arthur.
Azure Keybolt.
The Verdant, or what they call the Verdant
Circle.
The Verdant
Yeah.
Circle or the Academy. Do we trust any of those people?
You would see Arthur does pull a bit of a face and says, well, the people currently in charge, I do trust them. What happens in 5 years when the new person is in charge that doesn't think the same? If we give it to an organization, they have it.
I think we should potentially move it from the city.
And go where with it, though, Dante?
I don't know. I haven't thought this through.
No.
I'm not sure.
And I don't have an answer either.
Arthur, as I say, I have no stake in this. I'm only down here to clear the infection. If we are able to clear the infection, are we able to reset the door is the question.
But I think we know sort of how to reset those crystals, don't we? We need to feed them. We don't necessarily have enough spells tonight to do it, but we could come back tomorrow. Or after a rest.
I can't explain this in words. I just have something that this is something that the infection, this will purify the infection somehow. I can't explain how I feel. I think it's a memory that may not be mine. So that is also worrying.
Volu, you haven't said anything yet.
I will telepathy to Dante and go, are you feeling the pull to this? Or are you feeling Tenebris pulling you to this?
No.
If you know, then lower your sword. If not, keep it where it is.
I'm going to lower my sword. Slowly, kind of thing, because it's like I'm going to pause and I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I think I'm going to lower the sword.
I think we need to deal with this now, is what I'll say out loud.
Then I will support you however I can. I have misgivings about this.
So do I, but we can talk about what ifs all day. We can talk about what ifs we leave it here. What if we don't leave it here? What if whatever it's doing stops? But I don't want to live with what ifs. I'd rather us take action.
I would rather take action against the infection directly. And we know that the infection is in the catacombs. We know that it's in other parts of the city. Dante was happy to walk away from the infection and leave everybody to die of it only yesterday.
I know, and as I said to him then, we need to think about others, and that is what I'm doing now. Thinking of others, we need to act.
I will follow your wisdom.
Okay. Anyone know what to do this?
Not a clue.
Well, so with the Arcana, we're not saying this is a magic circle.
You don't think that it is energy disrupting, not like binding.
I can try to go in. I've still got this power charge. Maybe that will have some effect, but I got this from a similar thing. Maybe I can take it. What do you think? Unless anybody else wishes to.
Let's try. I'm happy to try with the mage hand if you think that might help.
Can try the mage hand if you wish first.
Let's try with the mage hand first, Liam.
Okay, so you float the mage hand over. It touches against the outer orb.
Mm-hmm.
But almost it's almost as it hits that white blue energy, it just hits like a force. It's almost like you're touching a wall. It's
okay, so that didn't work.
Give me a perception.
Can I do that as well?
Just Eleni.
16.
It almost feels like it's pulling. Do you know that vibration that you get off touching the electric balls?
Yeah.
Like that. But you feel it through the mage hand, which is weird because you don't feel things through the mage hand.
And
but you do.
It didn't try and suck the energy of the mage hand.
No, it's like exactly like touching one of those crystal balls with the electric that touches to the fingers. It's not that it's not hurting you, it's not damaging, it doesn't force the hand away. What's weird about it is normally you wouldn't feel anything from a mage hand, but you do. And it's almost like your mind is vibrating from touching that.
I'm going to drop the mage hand and tell everybody and say, that was weird. I could literally feel that.
Is it magics working with each other?
I mean, is it worth trying to throw something at it and just knock it off its perch? Something not connected to us when it touches.
I could try Gust again, or is
Magic. You can give it a go. Or, I mean, I've got a rope. Can I just
Slasso it.
Yeah, try and lasso it.
let's try that first.
Yeah, give me a. It's probably just a dex, to be honest. I don't think you're trained in it, so it'll just be.
Give me a cowboy with advantage.
Yeah.
I mean that was a grand total. Even with a +5, I got dex. Yeah, +5. Even with a +5 dex, that was a 7.
Yeah, it just into the room and just on the floor.
Okay, well, I'll just pull it back and try it again.
I'm going to
Just keep
say
doing it, you'll hit.
you keep trying, but it's just not really catching purchase. You're finding that even when you hit the energy ball, it's perfectly circular. So there's no place for it to like hitch and yank. However, you would find it's not balanced in that, like, even when you get a good like yank on it, the ball doesn't move.
Dante's going to take a step onto the ground.
Okay, so you take one step inwards, and the blue orb in the center flashes and almost fills. So, as the room fills with this like blue aura, as it washes over Dante, you would see they almost falter in step for a second, but manage to stay standing.
Dante, what was that?
Oh, some sort of pulse. Oh. Is it kind of?
It's continuous. It is.
Maybe step back. If I try to fire an arrow at it, Liam?
You can do. What are these people's passives? Sorry. Perception and insight.
17 perception, 14 insight.
16 insight, 13 perception.
Okay. You load up an arrow, make a attack roll.
Rubbish. 10.
It hits against it. You hit it fine enough, but almost there's like a repulse of energy that snaps your arrow. Like,
right.
Dante, you're able to keep stepping forward if you wish, or do you want to take a step back?
How far is it from me? Like
maybe 20 feet.
How bad?
We are doing 5 foot steps. Imagine you're like that. That's what's it. You know, like
right. Okay.
It is because it is that intense. You are having to focus.
Is there any way that we can disrupt the magic circle?
Well, you don't think it's the magic circle that's doing.
I thought it was interacting with.
It's interacting with the blue orb.
The pulsing is coming from the blue orb. Yeah. You feel it's more the energy coming off the orb. You would gather it's almost like it detected something stepped in the area and it's just putting off this energy.
I'm going to just look at this and just look up and kind of go. Actually, hang on.
Seeing Dante, I'm going to cast Gust at Dante to push him 5 feet forward.
Oh, cheers, mate.
You're going to push him forward because I was going to grab him and pull him back onto the step.
Well, you said it now.
Well,
I know, we got there first.
I mean, we can contest if you want. See who goes first.
I was just thinking this is hurting him and seems to be setting things off in the room. Why would you want to push him forwards?
Some reasons. Some reasons.
So Dante, as you are shoved forwards, the pulsing
I mean, we don't.
intensifies.
I'm saying I don't know if Eleni would have got to it first. So it's like,
No,
I mean,
you spoke first, so you're casting
Yeah.
off. You pushed him.
Okay.
Yeah,
And to be fair, you were behind Eleni, so she wouldn't have even really seen you
I wouldn't have seen you do it.
beginning to cast. So I'm going to say, yeah, it definitely gets off. Dante, as you step forwards, the pulsing intensifies. And as you notice that the blue lines of energy, it's almost again like a wave of blue is passing over the room. But when it hits Dante, the energy that comes off the back of Dante is red. And it's almost like it's stripping, like it's peel and then off into the air.
I'm going to cast Writhing Tide. And I'm going to fly forwards.
Okay.
All the way up to this orb.
So you begin to fly, and as you set off, immediately as you enter the waves of energy, almost again, and for Volu, as you're looking, so you've got these blue lines of energy pulsing out. As they hit Dante, there's the red stripping off. As Eleni hits it, you see silver and white, and Eleni, your moths are just starting to die immediately, like fading away as you're starting to fly in. You can keep going.
I would go back. I'm protecting my moths. If they die, I die.
Dante.
And again, when you get back, it almost they do replenish. They're not killing. 1 second. Um, 1 second, sorry.
So just to get this right, this orb is floating in the air, and that's the kind
It's
of
right
bit out
above
of
the
it.
pedestal, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the pedestal going up, and then above it floating.
Dante just looks at everything that's kind of going on. Looks at, say, just everything that's happening, and puts his hand out, and his fingers start to turn to ash, as does parts of his body, and he starts to pray. And what do I need to roll?
A concentration check, please. So con save.
Natural 20.
Nice. Yes. So even through the barrage of waves of energy.
And you just see Dante just kind of look back towards you both, or to everyone, and just as he just crumbles away with this smile across his face and burns up as he appears in a flame right next to the thing, and he sticks his hands to grab it.
And as you touch hold of as you put hands towards it, for the other two, you would recognize Dante just cast Misty Step.
Okay.
Through its own flavor.
I'm not sure I like the smile, though. I'm not sure what that means.
And as you place hands towards the orb, that is where we will end this week's session. Sorry to leave us on a cliffhanger, but it felt like a moment. In which case, thank you very much for joining us. As always, thank you very much for playing. If you're enjoying the adventure so far, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you know when the videos are coming out. And as always, roll well. Bye.